guys, what's up? It is your girl Kelly, and I am back with you guys yet again for another video. And I want to thank you so much, guys, for clicking on to this video. And if you would mind, go ahead and give the channel a subscribe, guys. I would so greatly appreciate it. It is an easy way to help me out, and I promise you, you will not regret it. I have lots of content coming on the way, and we are fixing to get into a new series today where I will be discussing a specific case over the period of several videos. And it's kind of a big one. It is a case that has struck a lot of people, and it's, I guess, relatively new. It was just adjudicated, so a lot has come out since this case went to trial. And so I will be having probably 5 to 6 videos on this case. So definitely hit that subscribe button, guys, if you have not already. And you know, I promise you guys, like I said, you will not regret it, and I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not new here, then I thank you so much, guys. Y'all know how much I appreciate you guys, and if you don't know, well, I'm here to say that I do. I'm thankful for each and every one of you that subscribes to this channel, anyone who interacts, likes the videos, comments. You guys definitely make it worth it, and I never thought that I would even get to this point, especially this soon. So I am very, very thankful, guys, and I would appreciate it if you guys would double check and see if you're still subscribed. Make sure. If not, go ahead and do that now. And guys, what case are we going to be getting into for this series? Well, I'm sure it's one that you guys have heard of, and it's a pretty horrific circumstance, the case. And then there was recently, like I said, a trial that came out, and the trial was almost, well, I won't say almost as horrific as the crime, because the crime was like beyond, but the trial was just basically like a slap in the face after the fact of committing you know, a massacre on a group of people, where you intentionally run your car over them in the middle of a Christmas parade. So we're talking about Daryl Brooks, guys. And let me know what you know about this case, guys. Did y'all watch any of this trial footage? I have to say that I did not. I knew, obviously, when this case happened, I was very aware of what was going on. I had seen the footage, you know, I had obviously seen all of the reports and everything. But the way that the media works, you know, once they found out who had perpetuated this crime, I felt like this story got buried, you know. And it's just one of those things which is tragic, you know, whenever it's not who they want it to be. The suspect does not fit a certain description or fit a certain narrative, then more often than not that case will get buried. But luckily, you know, there were people that brought a lot of attention to this trial and felt the need to really highlight it because of how this man acted during the proceedings of this trial. And it was egregious, honestly, it really was. So once I started seeing some of the clips of his courtroom behavior, and just the way that he completely dishonored, and not only dishonored, I would say, you know, even worse than that. I mean, he was like basically disrespected and completely and utterly, I don't even know what's a word stronger than that, but he disrespected his victims. Yet again, he re-victimized everyone in that courtroom, not only the victims of his crimes, but the families and, you know, the people that were in the courtroom. You know, I would argue, like, everyone, the judge, the prosecutors, everyone. And I've never seen this type of behavior in a courtroom before. And we've seen, you know, instances that are similar to this, you know, people representing themselves in court. You know, Ted Bundy famously did this. He was a serial killer. He had some very horrific crimes, but not to the level that this man actually, you know, his behavior during this trial was unlike anything I think any of us have ever seen. So I just want to start off, guys, with an article from Fox News. So we're gonna put him on the back burner here, and then today's video will cover his initial crime, and then the initial day, and I believe like the day leading, or one of the days leading up to his start of his trial, where he was requesting to represent himself. just to kind of give you a glimpse into what it was that this man, his frame of mind was, and how he was, already had an agenda going into the trial, that he was going to be just as disruptive and as disrespectful and as, utterly just crude, rude, and just like disgusting as possible to everyone. He had no, care for anyone on any level throughout the entire course of whenever he faithfully made the decision to do what he did, up until the point that he was finished with this trial. He had no care for anyone other than himself, and his narcissism and his arrogance led him to be in the spot that he found himself in. And it's just amazing that someone like that can honestly show you what pure evil really looks like. And it's scary, and it's very alarming to look at someone like that, and to realize that there are people like that out there. But I think it is important to highlight that, and to understand and to know what people are capable of, and how that, people think that all people have good inside of them, and that is just not the case, guys. So before getting into all of that, though, I want to, like I said, I want to get into this article, and this is from Fox News, I believe. Well, it's from Fox 6 Milwaukee. So let's get into some more important things than this monster. Okay, let's get into the people that he actually ended up victimizing, guys. First, right off the bat, we're going to honor these people. And so let's get right on into it. Darrell Brooks trial, 6 victims killed in parade attack. And let's read off their names and honor them right off the bat. So we're not going to discuss them yet. So these are the 6 people. Tamra Durand, 52. Wilhelm Hospital, 81. Jane Coolidge, 52. Leanne Lee Owen, 71. Virginia Jenny Sorensen, 79. And Jackson Sparks, 8 years old, guys. Okay, so Jane Coolidge. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is just a small little blip about her life. Obviously, she, all of these people meant more than these few sentences, but we just wanted to spend a little bit of time at the beginning of this series, and I'll be discussing them throughout, of course, to really highlight what it is this man did. Okay, and this is, like I said, just a glimpse, but it's it's at least something that we can highlight here. So okay, Coolidge was a mother of 3 with 3 grandkids. She marched with Citizens Bank in the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade. Her husband said she was one of the most wonderful women to ever walk the earth. Okay, so the dancing grannies. So Durand, Owen, and Sorensen were members of the Milwaukee Dancing Grannies. Hospital helped out with the group. So basically, whenever he ran over this group of people, that was 4 of the people that he ended up murdering that day, was with this Dancing Grannies group. And so it's just utterly disgusting on every level what this man took into his hands to go and do on this day. And what we'll come to understand is that there were events that happened before this, leading up to him perpetuating this crime. And it's just the rampage that he was on that day, victimizing person after person, and showing no regard for human life. It's truly astounding. So, okay, let's talk about Jackson Sparks now. Sparks of Mukwonago, sorry for the pronunciation, guys, died at the Children's Wisconsin on Tuesday, November 23rd, 2 days after the attack. My God, he'd had brain surgery the day of the attack. An online fundraiser for the Sparks family said, but he'd need a miracle to pull through. Jackson and his 12-year-old brother Tucker, who was injured in the attack, were baseball lovers. Jackson played for the Waukesha Blazers baseball team. So he was the only child to have died that day, but apparently there was others that were injured as well. Okay, so and then this article also highlights the surviving victims. So more than 60 people were injured in the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack, including more than a dozen children. Okay, so Fox News spoke with several survivors and their families. These survivors included 4 children, and their names were Tyler Pudliner, Eric Teagues, Jesselyn Torres, and Grayson Yorel. So just an awful, awful thing. I mean, just to take the lives of these people, many of whom were at the end of their lives. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom into this picture here, just so we can take a closer look at these people, and understand really the gravity of the situation and who it was that he took from this world. These 6 people who all had families, okay, all had loved ones who were there, who had to witness this horrific event happen. And it blows your mind when you think about it, guys. So let's take a minute to honor these people, and then I want to get into the murderer and just give you a small background on him, just so we can understand what it was that happened leading up to this incident, okay? So let me get into our next article here. Well, actually, it's not even an article. This is from Twitter. And right after this event happened, Andy No actually, God bless him, went and captured a lot of the information on his social media, because his social media was obviously wiped clean right after this attack happened, but he was able to pull these screenshots. So that's what we want to get into right now. As you can see, this man, as it turned out, was what some might call a black supremacist, okay? He had many, and I hate to even get into this, because it's one of those things where people try to like link certain beliefs to, and to say that like all those people are the same, because he had this, he had posted what some might call anti-Semitic beliefs, and that has come up on this channel as of recent with Ye, and so I just don't want people to link the two together, because I do feel like this man is pure evil personified, and Ye is a force for good in the end. Despite what anyone else may think, I truly do believe that, and I think that the messaging might sound similar, but it is completely different. So he had espoused different beliefs, like he thought that white people were treated differently by the police than were black people. So he posted many things like that. Obviously he was very big into BLM. He posted cops' instruction on how to kill black people, okay, and apparently written by St. Paul Police Sergeant. Okay, I don't know if I believe that, but this is what it said, guys, on his page, okay? Run them over, keep traffic flowing, and don't slow down for any of these idiots who try and block the street. Here is the deal. You continue to drive, and if you hit someone, make sure you call 911 to report the accident, and meet the cops a block or 2 away, and you can justify stopping further away because you feared for your safety. Since in the past, people in this group have shown a propensity towards violence. Since they are trying to block the street and or cross where there is no crossing, you should not be charged with anything. Now, these idiots could try and sue you in civil court, but remember that it will be a jury trial, so most likely it will come out in your favor. So I don't know the validity of this post. He is referring to the violent BLM rioters who were blocking traffic and who were actually standing in the middle of roadways and were attacking other vehicles. So I think that he is trying to use this to justify his actions at a later date. This was posted a good 5 or 6 years. I guess it was 5 years before he actually carried out his own crime that was similar. But this was one of the things that he argued in court, that he had a malfunction with the vehicle, and I think this was inspiration to him. He had it in him that he wanted to create mass casualty and utter chaos and take out as many people who he saw to be an enemy to himself and possibly an enemy to black people as a whole. And he was going to create utter carnage as much as he could. So here is some more. And again, like, I wanted to, just to be fair, I wanted to bring this to your attention because I have talked about Ye and my support for him in the past. But again, I do not want to even insinuate that I believe that there is any similarity between, what Ye said and what Ye was trying to propose and this person right here. So he posted a quote unquote rap, I guess you would say. I'm not going to play his music, if you can even call it that, because literally it's horrible. Like I said, I would not even call it music. It's just, not only is it because he's a disgusting person, it's just not good on any level. So he had this rap, that fuck Donald Trump flow, and whoever hate it. Okay, so I guess it's fuck me because I hate it. And so he also posted more BLM photo imagery. Hitler knew who the real Jews were, and he said hashtag research, real game right here. Okay, and so again, take with that what you will. And I said the same thing when Ye said it. It's like I don't know what exactly that means. And again, I'm Christian, so I don't consider myself to be Jewish. I did look into this further, and I don't believe that, in the Bible, it explicitly says, because I was unsure, like I even said that last video, or one of my last videos, I was unsure of what exactly this was supposed to mean, and if it was directed solely towards black people, or just towards Christians in general. And what I came to find out was that this is directed towards followers of Christ, that those were, quote unquote, the real Jews. And so that's where that kind of background comes from. It's not specifically speaking to black people, but this belief has been taken and twisted and turned and just completely co-opted. So I don't subscribe to this. I just think that, believe what you want to believe, as long as you're not doing violent actions like this piece of shit was. You can have your beliefs. That is fine. But I just wanted to show that just to be fair. And then I wanted to show you guys the last thing here. This is his rap sheet, okay, guys? And I think this is only part of it. So I'm going to read you guys some of his charges previous. Resisting or obstructing an officer, bail jumping, felony. Second degree, recklessly endangering safety. Domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, battery, domestic abuse. Okay, and then a mere 2 days before, it was about, I guess, a week before, he was charged with running over his ex-girlfriend, or I believe it was his baby mama, or attempting to run her over with a vehicle. Okay, the week prior. And he was arrested for this crime, guys, with his rap sheet that he had that I just showed you. He was still given a cash bond. And that was posted 2 days before he committed this crime. So if this does not tell you, that our bail system, this bail reform is broken, it needs to be utterly scrapped and just thrown away. If you have a rap sheet like this one, like Daryl Brooks had, okay, you get arrested for that 6th time, you need to be held without bail. I'm sorry, it just doesn't matter. Race plays no factor into this. All of the other socioeconomic factors should play no role in this. If you are violent, you need to be held in jail without bail. It's as simple as that, because most of these people are disturbed individuals, and they will go on to do things like this. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that background with you guys, like I said. And so now I want to go ahead, and we're going to get into the video of the crime. And so I want to first give you guys a warning and let you know that it is going to be graphic. And if you are not a person that wants to see violence like this, and it's graphic footage of actual people, and I would advise you to click off the video now, because I will be showing this video, and it's going to be horrible. And if you've seen it already, you know what it is we're dealing with here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the warning now, and 3, 2, 1, I'm fixing to get into the video. All links will be posted in my description of this video, guys. So without further ado, we're going to get into that video now. So click off now, guys.
Maroon Ford escapes his blue White Rocket Heart while heading into the parade road. There's a car going westbound, pushing the freight goes on a red on escape, black male. I couldn't stop it. He's going westbound, blowing his horn.
Look at the little girl. The little girl right there. My God.
Va a atropellar a...
Just truly incredible to see something like this, guys. Honestly, one of the most disturbing images you can see.
I need somebody to keep up and tell me what's going on. You have somebody hit at Main and Barstow?
And then the aftermath. You know, I wanna mute it there because the screaming is very disturbing, and I just don't want to like fully traumatize everyone. But I mean, the carnage left in. I mean, it just gives you goosebumps. It's like disgusting. All these kids, all these people that had to witness what just transpired. I mean, it's like these people will be traumatized for the rest of their lives. And there's people laying everywhere in the middle of the street. People are scrambling. I'm sure, like, everyone's just in utter shock and grief. And I don't even know what they would be feeling in this moment. But it's truly horrific, and you know, I pray for everyone who had to witness this and was subject to this man's disgusting violence. So I want to fast forward it just a little because I want to get into the aftermath of him, because once he barreled through these people at this parade, he went on to then try to evade arrest. He did not stop. He did not even attempt. Okay. To try to like turn himself in or claim any sort of a malfunction with the vehicle. He obviously knew what he had done and he was running. Okay, so roughly 20 minutes after the incident, Daryl Brooks ditches the car and rings a video recorded Ring doorbell, and this is chilling, guys. So let's watch this. Look at that vehicle. My God. The homeowner lets Brooks come inside and okay, this is incredible. The homeowner lets Brooks come inside, makes him a sandwich, gives him a coat, and then gets nervous of Brooks's behavior and tells him to step back outside. So I want to reference this New York Post article because it gave a little bit more details as to what happened there. Let's see. Where does it start? Okay, it's right here. So he is seen shivering outside of the house, which is located about a half mile from the parade route, and knocking on the door just after 5 p.m. Sunday, about 20 minutes after he allegedly plowed into the crowd. I called an Uber, and this is what he said to the homeowner. I called an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming, he is heard telling resident Daniel Ryder, according to NBC News. Can you please call it for me? I'm homeless, he adds. Which he was not. He lied. Ryder told the news outlet he had been on a hunting trip and was watching a football game at the time of the incident, so he was unaware of what had just happened nearby. And so the resident told NBC News that he invited Brooks inside, gave him a jacket, made him a sandwich, and let him use his phone. All of a sudden, I look outside my street and I see a few cop cars drive by, and I'm getting extra nervous, he said, adding that he then asked his guests to leave. Just imagine, guys. I mean, I could not imagine letting someone in that rang my doorbell, especially a grown man like this, who obviously looked scary, but I guess, he I don't know. I mean, God bless him, I guess, in a way. He was trying to be kind, but just incredible. Imagine this, okay? So Brooks left, but then began pounding on his door again, saying he left his ID behind after a neighbor called the cops. So let's get back to the video, and we're gonna play it from right here.
Hey,
I called an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
So he had also ditched his gray sweatshirt that he was seen driving with. I'm gonna pause it real quick. Because he was seen driving, that's why he doesn't have any jacket or anything on in this video. He had ditched this in like a kid's playhouse at a neighbor's yard where he had, close to where he had ditched the car. So it was in order to, again, evade capture and to, give him some sort of protection from his crime that he had just done.
I don't know. It's him. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. That's my ID. My ID.
Alright guys, so that is that as far as the footage of this monster goes. And so now we're going to give you guys a glimpse into his courtroom behavior, guys. So this is extra special. Knowing what we know now, seeing those videos and the way he acted, the way he carelessly and so callously committed these crimes that he did. Now let's see how, and if he has any sort of remorse or a change in his behavior while appearing at his trial to answer to these crimes, guys. So we're going to get right into it, and I want to show you guys first the this is pre-trial, like I believe leading up to the trial beginning, and he was arguing to the judge about how he wanted to represent himself. So let's start with this, guys, and we're going to play a couple minutes of this, and then I want to play you guys a couple minutes of his very first day at trial, and we're going to stop it after that. So, and then I'll pick it up on my next video with more footage from the following days of trial, and we'll discuss what exactly transpired and his behavior, and we'll continue to honor the victims' memories because ultimately that is the most important thing. So let's play this.
Reasonably understood, or understood with reasonable accuracy, why the evaluators were there, the limitations of the confidentiality associated with that even during times during those evaluations, if he was being difficult, that he was nonetheless able to communicate with them. He was articulate. His remarks were coherent, fluid. At times, though, they were avoidant of questions asked. I would say this, my observations of Mr. Brooks and perception over the course of the proceedings throughout this case is strikingly similar to some of the commentary and observations by the evaluators, including even the angry outbursts that we've seen in court, the avoidance in his responses to questions asked.
I object to that because at the end of the day,
I understand, Mr. Brooks, stop. You can object.
And so, right off the bat, guys, he is, his whole demeanor is just somebody who is on edge. He appears to be very agitated and, just callous and uncaring. And he's got two attorneys sitting next to him. This is a motion to dismiss his attorneys so he can represent himself in his trial, which, if you guys know anything about court proceedings, it's like that is highly discouraged, especially in a case such as this. And part of that has to do not just with the fact that you don't know the law as a normal everyday citizen, but it's the decorum rules and the rules of the court, and the respect of the court is something that needs to be advised and it needs to be respected during the course of the proceedings. So most of the time it's discouraged because of that. And he just had no regard for any of that. I mean, he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about, but he wasn't even trying to show any ounce of respect. Not only for the judge, not only for the prosecutors, but for his victims, knowing full and well that they were either in the courtroom watching, or may have been watching via Zoom, or may have just been, going about their own lives, but then having to hear about this through whatever media or social media friends, it's just a slap in everyone's face. So he's already objecting, even though he has his lawyers present, which he's not allowed to do. You would know this if you had any knowledge of court proceedings. As a defendant, you're supposed to sit there and be quiet. And this judge, she should be nominated for sainthood, because the patience that this woman showed throughout the course of this trial is, supernatural, honestly, in my opinion. So let's play a couple more minutes of this, and then we'll move to the next one.
Your objection is noted. I'm going on. This is one of the expectations that I have, is you can object, it will be noted, but you can't keep interrupting. I need to have an accurate record.
Okay.
So your objection, sir, your objection is
from
noted.
Something that I haven't been privileged to read myself.
This is a prime example of some of the difficulty with Mr. Brooks.
I don't think you have a PhD,
he
Your Honor.
can be in my opinion, deliberately disruptive.
We know that you don't have a PhD. So you piece of human shit. This makes me just angry, because it's like he's doing this on purpose, and he knows what he's doing. And it makes your stomach turn. It makes you nauseous, because he is re-victimizing everyone all over again. And almost, very close to just as bad. Just about the worst thing you could have possibly done after killing people would be to then basically spit on their memory by doing this and acting this way in court.
But nonetheless, he maintains being competent at the most basic level in order to present a defense on his behalf.
Object to that.
Now, I talked earlier about some of the
he objects to everything.
Referenced it, and I want to start with that, or I should say, start my decision, my ultimate decision at this point with the case law. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a mentally competent defendant the right to represent himself in a criminal trial, no matter how foolish that choice may seem. This is a quote from Beretta versus California, found at 422 U.S. 806. The quote is from Imani versus Pollard, and the court in that case went on to say the following: the constitutional right, quote, exists to affirm the dignity and autonomy of the accused and to allow the presentation of what may, at least occasionally, be the accused's best possible defense. That's Imani versus Pollard, quoting the McCaskill case. A judge may not deny a competent defendant's timely invocation of his right.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to stop it right there, and then I want to fast forward to when she actually goes and dismisses his attorneys, and then we'll get into the next clip of his first day at trial and how he acted on that day as well, and then we'll wrap it on up. But I do like the way that this judge, she had the wherewithal and like I said, the patience, the utter patience, and the grace in the class to deal with this man in a way that I feel was necessary, and it took some forethought and definitely some I don't know, just very very smart in the way in which she did this. And what do I mean by that? By reading out this case law and establishing the precedents, and she did this all throughout the trial by letting him speak, by allowing him to make all of the objections, all of the disruptions, all of the chaos that he then went on to do throughout the course of this trial. It leaves little to no room for him to go back and try to appeal her decision. So I definitely think that that was strategic on her part. She wanted to make sure that she was going by the book on this, and not only going by the book, but establishing it, it to where that he would have no argument for grounds for appeal or anything like this. So I appreciate what she did here. It takes a special kind of a inner strength, to go through what it is that she went through as a judge proceeding over this man and his horrific behavior. So let's get into the part where these lawyers are actually dismissed.
In the end, a competent defendant has a constitutional right to represent himself, even if the judge or anyone else thinks there may be no good reason for him to do so. I'm not saying you don't have a reason, sir. I'm frankly speaking to your mom at this point. He may not understand. Frankly, her understanding is not material. You have the constitutional right to make this choice. What's important for this court, and why I also went through some of the other biographical information, is you have a high school education. You've completed the 11th grade. You have an HSED. You are clearly literate. You've been able to communicate with the court efficiently and effectively. At times, you press the court when there is something you don't understand or believe is not going your way. But to me, that's a sign that you understand and are advocating on your behalf. Frankly, statements like, I'm informed or I'm aware, are the functional equivalent of you saying, I understand. I cannot say that this is one of those narrow classes. Mr. Brooks,
I
stop.
object, which is my First Amendment right to be able to say what I want.
Mr. Brooks, your rights do not involve interrupting me. That's the
I objected. I didn't
That's
interrupt.
the
I
procedure
interjected.
that we will
Objected.
follow.
Oh God. I
At
don't know how she did
trial,
this.
what's going to happen if you continue to do that is you will be admonished in front of the jury.
That's fine.
If you continue that.
That's fine.
Like I said, this is not one of the narrow class of cases in which a defendant
Imagine being one
may
of
not
these
be
lawyers sitting
competent
next
to
to
represent
him.
himself, because
I could
there's
never.
no evidence before the court to suggest he has a severe mental illness, which is why, of course, I looked at the NGI evaluations, because that is competent, recent information before
no
this
relevancy.
court regarding his mental status
It has no
and
relevancy.
his understanding of what is going on.
That has no relevancy to
This
why we're
court
here
is then
today.
able to render the following. It is this court's opinion in finding today that Mr. Brooks understands with reasonable accuracy and is aware of the difficulties and disadvantages of self-representation, the seriousness of the charges against him, as well as the general range of penalties, and that he is making a deliberate choice today to waive his right to an attorney and proceed without counsel. This court further finds that Mr. Brooks is competent to proceed, whether he refers to that pro per, pro se, or simply self-represented. He reads, he writes,
That
he
wasn't a question,
understands
you
the
idiot.
English language. He's been able to communicate with the court. He has no physical or psychological disability that impacts his ability to communicate with the court or to communicate a defense to the jury on his behalf. I've not been able to find on the record, and he has not advised the court of any disability, physical or psychological or otherwise, that would affect his ability to communicate with the court or to a jury. In the words of Pickens, Mr. Brooks has the minimal competence necessary to conduct his own defense.
And I would definitely argue that he has the minimal capabilities of being a human in general. I would say subhuman at this point. That is the level that one Mr. Daryl Brooks is on. So let's get into the last video, guys, that we're going to get into, which is his very first day of trial. And I'll just play a few minutes of this because we already saw his disruptive behavior. And I want to show you guys just how he acted. Now, this is with the jury who is now present, people who are in the courtroom, and him appearing in the physical courtroom itself, not in the separate room where they were holding different motions and things like that. So let's get into this and then we'll get out of here.
All right, good morning, everyone. The court will call State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks, case number 21 CF 1848. Record should reflect that the state appears this morning by District Attorney Sue Opper, Deputy District Attorney Leslie Basie, Assistant District Attorney Zach Wichow, and the defendant Darrell Brooks appears in person in custody. I'd also like the record to reflect that he is appearing in jail attire today. He's also wearing a mask.
And would like the opportunity to state that I'm here concerning this matter as a third-party intervener in this matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value in return for value all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments and would like to now reserve my rights, if I may.
So he is
Mr. Brooks, you just interrupted.
He's reading off of a paper that someone has provided him, guys. So we don't know who provided these materials to him. I'm only assuming that it's somebody who shares his beliefs. It is somebody who's also just as sick as he is, but he obviously doesn't know what it is he's talking about, and he is just a mental idiot, okay? So I want to get into the last thing here, which is how he was removed from court, okay, and proceeded to then be having to be taken from a different room, that same room that we just saw him in, okay? And he then removed his shirt during the court proceedings, mind you. Okay, so let's just get into that.
Whether he suffers from a mental disease or defect that would qualify.
Sorry about this ad, but what do y'all think so far of this utter despicable human being? I mean, it truly is mind-blowing to think that someone's capable of this. Not only just the
would
crime,
qualify
but
for a
this behavior.
special plea. I've not gone into much detail, and I won't. Those documents are part of the record, but it's very clear to this court that everything that he has done, as outlined by the state and as made evident on the record of these proceedings, that it is the sole intent of Mr. Brooks to make a mockery of this process. And I've stated, and I'll state it again, I'm not going to tolerate it. But there is, I believe this trial needs to continue, should continue, not only for Mr. Brooks as the accused, who also has the right to a speedy disposition. He hasn't exercised it. The victims have a right to a speedy disposition. And it's important for the justice system to go forward with this proceeding. We are at the stage where we are at with Mr. Brooks muted in another courtroom because of his defiant actions.
Just utter
No one else.
state of this man.
I appreciate everyone's patience as the court goes through these things. Frankly, gives Mr. Brooks time after time after time to conform his conduct to the clear expectations, but he just simply flat out refuses to do so.
So yeah, guys, just a level of disrespect I don't think I've ever seen before in my years of being alive. I mean, it's truly astounding, as I said, that somebody could be so evil, somebody could be so disrespectful and just, I don't even know. There's no words for this man, truly. They're all insufficient, it would seem, as to his behavior and his conduct during the course of his life and during the course of the end of his life, which is he's going to spend the rest of it in prison. You know, that is his fate, and he deserves every bit of that. every bit, honestly. So, you guys, what did y'all think of this video and of this case so far? Again, we're going to have a few more videos in this series. I'm going to be showing you guys more courtroom footage, talking about the proceedings, talking about his behavior, and trying to do the best we can to honor the victims, and just showing you guys the most important parts that I feel were relevant to the court proceedings and to the trial as a whole. And I just want to highlight, guys, like I said before, what it is that we're dealing with as humans on this planet, and the types of people that are out there that are truly monsters, truly. And so it's something we need to be aware of, and it's something that we need to be diligent of. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, please. Like the video if you liked it, and definitely hit that subscribe button, guys. I would greatly appreciate that, and you would be doing me a big favor. And I look forward to seeing everyone again in the next video. So y'all stay safe and remain, be kind to one another, and just stay aware of your surroundings as always. And this is the most important thing we can do in our society to make sure that we have the best chance of surviving people like this, is to just keep your head on a swivel and try to understand what it is we're dealing with people like this. Okay, guys? So thank you guys so much again. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay? Bye, y'all.